what he wants is happiness, and what the fuck does that mean?
Right.
And it becomes this sort of like rat race of that's an ever shifting view of the world and like of self. So like how, like I don't know how he is a person of logic, and he's a person that like wants to quantify things, and happiness is not something that you can quantify.
Right.
And so it's just this eternal search that I don't know if it'll, you know, who knows? I don't know what happens.
Well, but it is.
Is she a Nithin? Is she a dead? Is she a ghost? He could be rescuing her from like an eternity as a ghost. Like he's just trying to rescue the woman he loves. Like,
right.
That's beautiful, and that is it's a righteous cause.
Except she's never asked to be rescued.
No, probably we're going to get political.
No more magicians, just all politics the entire time. No, people aren't sick of hearing it. But I do think, you know, he is, and now he finally kind of seems to get this, you know, this situation back that he wants, and then all shit breaks loose again in the end. So where is he at mentally at the end of season 2?
Heartbroken. You know, like I think he learned a lot. Season 2, like on this journey, pursuing, bringing Alice back to life. I think he shed a lot of the bullshit that he was carrying around with him for so long. I like this idea of him becoming sort of addicted to the journey, addicted to forward momentum.
Yeah.
You know? And because if you stop, you're forced to self-reflect.
Right.
And I think for him right now, there's danger in that. And so I think he sort of like at all costs is going to be pushing this thing forward.
Excellent. Julia had a really difficult journey in season 2 in particular. And just emotionally, can you talk a little bit about, you know, what her arc was to you and what it meant to you?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a roller coaster, for lack of a better term. But season 1 was just sort of like to be expected, right? Because it was in the novels, and I knew sort of what I was getting into. And then season 2 was like, whoa, I had no idea what was happening. And then the shapeless Julia, who I kind of like. It's kind of like that, you know. But
I get that, girl.
I like that girl. That girl's good, bad, and all the right, and the good ways. Wow, that came out wrong. But she's, you know, it was crazy. I didn't know sort of like what to think, I guess, about her, because, you know, on the one hand, I understand where she's coming from, and then on the other hand, I'm like, no, why? Don't do that, or don't react that way, or. And it's hard when you're in it and when you've endured something that's that intense and that real, to sort of like step outside of it and be able to navigate it.
Sure.
Yeah.
With just the way that she dealt with Renard in the end, I saw a lot of reactions. People like, what? I mean, I think I wanted to see her like blow him through a million pieces, but she lets him go. And so, how do you think that decision affects who Julia will be moving forward?
I actually love that decision because I think it shows empathy and sort of compassion in a world that there's a lot of lack thereof, you know, and it shows that like you can't, you know, to be empathetic and sympathetic and understanding that nobody's perfect and people make mistakes, and to be able to have forgiveness. You know, you can't forget, but you can forgive.
Right.
So I actually think it makes her a better person, a stronger person.
Alice also, since season 1, I feel like has gone through the most transformations. Just in terms of who she started as and what she's, you know, there's been a couple different iterations of Alice. So is she still, in her current incarnation, is she still Alice post-Niffin, or is she something else?
Wouldn't you like to know? Alice has always been very complicated, and it was really fun in season 2 to get to find a very feral version of a character that was so buttoned up. And I had one idea, you know, I had this idea of Alice when I read the books that I fell in love with, and then in season 2 I got to blow that wide open and be like, who is this person on a different level. And you know, Alice got to experience what it's like to be a Niffin, which is so much fucking better than being magic on Earth. So I think she has a lot of secrets and a lot of stuff inside her that just can't come out right now. She's really fucking pissed.
And so she's basically stuck in a classroom right now. Like, once you've had the experience, once she's had this experience of being able to travel through the universe as pure magic, and it just sort of ends like, well, she's in a classroom at a desk, kind of doing homework.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trust her at this moment in time. But it is really depressing for her to have to come back to Earth at at this, right now, with magic being gone. She went from being in a place of pure magic and knowing what that meant and what that felt like and what she was capable of, and it's nothing close to what it's like on Earth. And to come back here against her will, and to have no magic. No, it was really sweet, Quentin. Thank you very much for that. She has a lot on her plate, but you know.
Sorting it out. Elliot is I think people love because he's so fluid, like everything, but him having to.
Good as fuck.
It is fluid AF because he's a guy that if I were going to college and I saw him, I'd be like, I need to hang out with that guy because he knows what's going on. He knows everything about everything. Yet you get thrust into sexy Narnia, basically. You know, and which should be a thing that you'd think these characters would love. Oh my god, that Fillory's real, they get to go to Fillory. And it's the most oppressive, like you are so much responsibility and the kingdom is being choked out. So how is he dealing with all this responsibility?
I think he, at first, you know, when he becomes the High King, he doesn't really realize what he's getting himself into. And he attempts to recreate the life that he had at school, which was, I'm at the top of the heap, I can essentially control my surroundings and live a life of frivolity and debauchery and get away with it. And he's enough of a genius that he doesn't have to study that hard. He's Elliot, for God's sake. So, I think the kingdom really kind of like took him down a few notches, and you know, he was struggling with some addiction, he's in a new land, he doesn't know which end is up, and he's not formally trained in ruling a country of people he knows nothing about. So, yeah, it's a big learning curve for him, and he can't recreate his past, so he's coming to terms with being a real person to other people and acknowledging his own brokenness.
Is there any part of his personality that you think is sort of, because he's very regal. I mean, he was regal even before he became High King, he was very regal. But do you think that was his defense mechanism? Or do you think, are there things he's afraid of?
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot that he's afraid of. I think he seeks a lot of control and power, but he also desperately wants and needs to be loved and to find community and family. I think that's universal, and those things are sometimes at odds with each other. And I think for Elliot, you know, he's having to juggle the internal emotional machinery of how those things conflict. Right.
Margot also had an awakening of responsibility that she had to do, because it was really just... In the last few years, it's been so much about partying and hanging out and not having any real responsibility, and all of a sudden she's making these like life or death decisions that affect an entire population, and finding that it's not that easy when you're in charge and you have to do things to the best of your ability to make them work. So what is she learning, you think?
You know, I think at first she's just sort of power drunk. It's like her wet dream, I think, to be queen of a, you know, enchanted land. But yeah, like you said, there's so much darkness in the kingdom, and it's economically challenged, it's sexist. Like, a lot of times she wants to be more helpful and make wiser decisions, but the options are so limited to her. It's not set up for success. They're not set up for success when they arrive. And I think Margot has to really fight for her position as queen. even when she deals with the council, just to be heard, because it's all high king, high king, high king. They don't really listen to her. So I think she has to be pretty aggressive in her decision making just to be heard.
Do you agree with it? Do you agree with the decision that she made?
Absolutely.
With the fairies? I mean, with the fairies?
No, I don't, obviously, but I don't think she had another option. Obviously, I don't agree with that. It's horrible. But I don't think that there was a lot of options available to her.
Well, that's why I kind of agreed with it, because I was like, what else is she supposed to do? They gave her this, they told her what to do. You know, like, she did the best she could do to preserve the situation with what she had available. That was she was improvising.
Exactly. And I mean, if they had taken over, you know, the Lorians at the time, you know, we could have all been dead anyway. So I think she thought she was just saving who she could.
Right.
In the way that she thought was best, so yeah.
And Penny had an endless quest for working hands this season. But you know one of the things that is so fascinating to me about the entire season arc with that is that it's really just kind of like, it almost works out for him, but he gets a little arrogant, and then the guy by the river is like, well, fuck you, and then like one little arrogant decision essentially affects everything else that happens to him after that.
I feel like that's Penny in a nutshell. I appreciate the generosity of just a little bit of arrogance rather than an immense amount of arrogance.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah. I forgot what the question was.
It was about your hands. It was about Penny's, he means well and he does the best that he can, but I think, sometimes he's a little overly confident about situations. I got this. Maybe not as accustomed to working with a team, kind of lone wolfs it, which is so interesting because he's a traveler, but how does that, how do you think he's kind of starting to fit in with the group now because of that?
Yeah, I think all of us have a learning curve in the show, and I think that for Penny, a lot of it has to do with his inability to relate to others and inability to let people in, which is what's so thrilling about the relationship with Katie, is because we get to see a side of vulnerability, a side of intimacy, but he doesn't feel, whether he doesn't feel safe, whether he feels above the rest of the group, is probably that he feels arrogant towards the rest of the group. But he doesn't want to get involved with them in season 2 when he loses his hands. I'm pointing at you guys because you did that to me multiple times. He's forced to rely upon the group, and starting season 3, we're seeing more of the same. No one has magic, so he's kind of forced to grow up in this way that's quite lovely.
Yeah, and also just his special ability allows him to run away, like if he wants to.
He takes advantage of that, I think. I think I would too sometimes. I think all of us would, right? Would we?
Yes.
By the way, it's so crazy. I know we're a successful show, but I'm still floored and overwhelmed by how many people are in this room.
Yeah. Full penetration, there's nothing the show doesn't do. It's true. It's like you couldn't want for more in a show. Almost like, they get away with everything. So what was the decision to let the show breathe in that way?
We had one meeting with Syfy when it was a pilot script that Sera and I wrote on spec. We optioned Glenn's books with our own, we each wrote checks. Michael London, Sera, and I wrote these little shaking hands. Oh my God, this is all I have in my savings account. But we have a bunch of meetings around town with other companies, and Syfy just flat out said, we want to do this show. We're not going to put this into development. We want to once again lead in genre as we do with that. And I know these guys. I know Jeff Longtail and Bill Golder, who are the two guys that meet for a long time, and I know that they keep their word. And when we walked out of the meeting, because I had a relationship with the guys, I just turned to Sera and Michael and I said, this is it, we're home. And they've been amazing. Not only, I gotta say, the creative freedom that we've had, but the marketing is insane. I've been doing this a long time. The marketing is not only like, when the show's going to roll out, it's not only huge, which you would expect from a worldwide conglomerate, it's also incredibly in line with the tone of the show. You know, I think some of us worked on shows where the poster, you're like, that's the poster?
I've worked on shows where I'm like, can we have a poster? Put it up in my room.
So I think overall, connecting Syfy and UCP, you kind of can't stand up, because without a good studio and without a supportive network, you really can't make a show like this.
Right.
You're just fighting all the time. We don't fight. We make the show we want to make.
What's your name?
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Alexis, and I'm a huge fan of the show, but also a huge fan of Supernatural. And this is Sera Gamble. I wanted to say, how has your writing changed from doing that show to Magicians, where you guys are genre, but a totally different type of show?
Oh, I so appreciate that question. It's so cool to be in a room full of people who understand that genre is more than one thing. I have to be honest. I think of Supernatural as like the best graduate school I could have dreamed of. I learned how to produce something like this on a modest budget, and I'm kind of annoying in the room because people will pitch an idea and I'll be like, well, here's how we would have done it on Supernatural. But the good thing about that is Magicians is such a different show that Supernatural is kind of like my guardrails in a certain way. I mean, I know what that show is, I feel that show in my heart, and Magicians is about something else. So if I feel like I'm treading too far over into the Eric Kripke, Bob Singer, Andrew Dabb, Jeremy Carver Waters, I just pull this back over here to the weirdos. The people who hate their brother, like really hate their brother, that's their show.
I would hate him with that head.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Who's next?
Hi. Hello. There's so many amazing scenes visually, and this can go towards any of you guys, but I would like to know what has been your favorite scene to film.
I had a lot of fun in the Jason scene where I was supposed to be drunk on horse booze and getting my hands chopped off the second time. It was a really beautiful moment for Jason and I as like friends and you know, co-workers. I had a good time, did you? It was so bad. It was really fun.
Olivia, what about you?
I don't know, there's so many good ones. Season one where we had to do the black hole over the game, and like we do so many practical effects on our show, and so we actually get to feel like we're doing fucking magic, and so you feel like a rock star for a minute. And then they had like a balloon fly over the auditorium and make it go completely black, and then lights come down and wind is swirling. And
Our crew is like so fucking
they're
fantastic.
so good. So
We get to do finger touch, and then the environment around us actually changes.
Yeah.
We don't spend a lot of time in front of green screens and like acting to tennis balls. They build the environment around us, and they create it so that it can change. It's really incredible.
And then just also a tip out there for anyone cosplaying as any Magician's characters. When you were on at midnight, I was like, oh, I can't ever get the hand motions right. And do you remember what you told me? How you do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's simple for Alice. I'm really bad at the hand cutting, so I just default to nipple twisting. So that's what I do. I just think because she's really fucking good at magic that she doesn't need to do a lot, so it's just middle finger. No, it's the middle finger thumb. It's a fancy nipple twist.
Actually, I'm curious how everyone approaches their different spell casting. Just like when you're doing it as an actor, what's in your head?
Stress. A lot of joint pain. I broke a finger recently, and so like that made it difficult. But magic's dead now, so it's fine. I don't have to do that anymore, which is awesome.
Magic's dead for you guys.
For most of you, yeah. For one person, maybe not so much. Something going on at the end
I've
there.
got the power.
You do. What is your name, sir?
Hi, I'm Damien. My question was kind of just asked by you, Chris, but what I'd like to ask is, what have been the biggest challenges in bringing these characters to life, and what have you enjoyed about tackling those challenges?
I wish you would ask the question I asked, because you have a better accent than I do.
Yeah, like this comes with respect.
It does. Don't cry about it, Quentin. I just would have been so much into how are you twisting those nipples? Anyone?
Oh, I would say, I think more than anything, I guess, especially in first creating the characters in the first season, the expectation of a character that already existed and characters that had such a loyal and loving following. That was probably the hardest part, I'd say. Just meeting those expectations and trying our very best not to fuck it up.
I think for me, the thrill of the show, thanks to John, Sera, and the writers, is that we're always in these extraordinary circumstances, and they're often life or death. And rooting those in emotional truth is a challenge, but also an incredible opportunity as actors. That, you know, we're not in a procedural where we're in the same police station finding that clue and then we solve the murder. No, it's sometimes we're committing the murders. Who knows? It's just thrilling as an opportunity.
No day on set is exactly the same.
For me, it's just walking with an eye patch and heels in a forest.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your question. Who's next? What's your name?
Hi, my name is Franklin. First, I'd like to say I love the idea of sphincter magic.
I did not, for the record.
In the show, you have a very special type of chef. What type of his cuisine would you like to sample next?
The chef's cuisine, like what's something else that he wants to see? Yeah.
You're talking about Josh and
Yeah.
his stuff, yeah. Whatever gets me highest, honestly.
I'd love to see like a drug-infused pot roast.
Make it interesting. Make a pot roast interesting for
Like homey, you know?
Yeah.
Make me comfortable.
Yeah.
It's done with us.
So many stoners are thinking like, yo man, we should make a pot roast. Like, I just want to sit here.
I want to be reminded of my mom.
Hey, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Brett Taylor. So I just want to say thank you guys for kind of bringing magic back into our day-to-day lives. You know, of course, been doing a great job on this book. But I want to know, as magicians, they have such torture and emotion that goes into driving their magical power. How do you, as actors, bring your personal emotions into your role?
I think I'm sorry, Arjun. Oh, okay.
Go ahead. I
I think
didn't know how to answer that, so you took by all means.
I think the beauty of these books and what drew all of us to this story was that these characters are so human and the magic is just sprinkled on top. And I think we're all a group of actors who are very much interested in telling the emotional journey of these human beings in their relationships with each other. So it's, I don't know, we all go through shit in life, and life is really hard, and relationships suck, and all that, and so I think it's not that hard to think of how difficult a breakup would be, but I don't know, it's fun to get to do the magic, but to get to touch in with how we feel about what it's like to have this human experience. The writers and John and Sera give us such great opportunities to really explore deep with these characters. So.
Does anyone else have anything they want to add to that?
I was just going to say, I love that you said thank you for bringing the magic back into our lives. We all need to believe in a little bit of magic.
And I like how well your book is.
Right on.
Thank you so much.
You guys, I'm dying.
You guys, if you guys can get a visa to Canada, you got work. Long hours, pay's not great, but the food's good.
And you get posters.
Yes. Amazing.
Our question is, which of your fellow magicians would you sacrifice to the fairies in order to save magic?
question, contextually, I've maybe ever seen a Comic-Con.
I would sacrifice Quentin.
Yeah, well, that's fucking obvious.
I wasn't trying to be clever with my response.
So what would you sacrifice?
Penny!
Okay.
I sacrifice both of them.
You only need to sacrifice one. Why would you do
Shits and giggles.
Stella, who would you sacrifice?
I gotta stick with Quentin. I would sacrifice Penny.
I see how it is. I see the location.
Oh my god, I just got so moved. So you mean I take it back, Alice? Myself. Myself?
She was like,
Damn it, I can't
I know, seriously.
Margot? No, I can't do it.
We're gonna be on all sorts. When we get back to set on Monday, there's gonna be things flying in people. There's gonna be grudges, man.
I know.
I sacrificed Julia. I don't know what she's up to.
Summer, who you sacrificing?
What about you, Summer?
I don't know. I don't want to. I sacrifice myself.
No, you wouldn't. Not a chance.
All right, Penny.
This is why it sucks to be the lone wolf, bro. This is why it sucks. Like that guy.
Yeah, fuck y'all. I don't need any of y'all, man.
Margot did kind of sacrifice herself already, though. She sacrificed a piece of herself.
She did.
Arjun, it's okay, because this is how you get a spin-off, babe.
Hey.
No way, I would sacrifice David Blaine or Chrissy.
I freaked out for a second because I turned around and they just disappeared and I didn't see them. Where they go? You guys saw them too, right?
Who would you sacrifice?
Yeah.
You gotta answer.
Yeah, and then Sarah's got to answer that too. Chris, who would you sacrifice?
Yeah, Chris.
Well, it's kind of leaning in the Quentin column right now. I feel like I couldn't do that. Oh, I don't know. That's such a good question. Could I just find like a random hedge witch that I didn't have any personal connection to? Like,
That's not how
shut up,
television
you don't
works.
make the rules. I can't sacrifice any of you.
It's gonna be Hoberman.
I would sacrifice. You think it's so? You think maybe it would be?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer. No.
Say Todd.
Oh yeah, fucking Todd.
Spin off.
No brainer, no problem. Alright, what is your name?
Hi, I'm Katie. This is for Elliot and Margot. You guys were so close at break bills, and then Elliot found a new boy toy, and Margot decided to sacrifice his firstborn without talking to him. Do you ever think that you can get that closeness back, or is it just like fucked and gone forever?
I think there's they're family at this point, so I think they'll always be bonded in a way. And now they're forced together because they're trapped in Fillory. So there's bigger fish to fry right now, so I don't know.
Yeah, they had some pretty serious conversations coming up in terms of their friendship, but there's some higher stakes that need to be dealt with first.
I hope they stay bonded.
They will. They'll always find each other.
Well,
You don't want to sacrifice that? Come on.
But it does bring up, there is a really serious point about life and growing up in this show, and which is things start to change. It's very uncomfortable because change sucks, but it's necessary. And you keep trying to go back to the way it was. You try to go back to the way it was, and then you can't. And then all of a sudden you realize how you have to kind of forge a new path, new relationships, and be comfortable in that. I mean, I do love the idea of, have they gone so far at this point? What is the new normal gonna look like to them?
Weird.
I feel like that's life, though. You kind of just make it up as we go along, right?
Yes.
We're all just figuring it out. I mean, I am.
Yeah.
I think they're doing their best. I mean, these are very emotionally immature and flawed human beings. They've been put in circumstances that are well over their capabilities, and they're trying. I mean, I think as flawed as every character is, they are, I like to think, doing their best.
I agree.
What is your name, sir? What is your question?
Hi, my name's Paul. I have a question for Sera and John. I'm a fan of both the show and the books, and you've done a really great job of making a break from the books while still honoring them, so thank you for that. But, so my question is, what's your favorite thing from the books that you haven't been able to do on the show, or for any reason?
Well, we haven't even, I don't think we've really mined book 3 except for bringing Alice's Niffen reconversion. And so the thing I'm really excited about, because I love heist movies, is the heist. The flying carpet. I just think that's, I was reading that, we were, I think, just starting season 1, and I'm like in the writer's room, I don't usually do this, I'm not a total pig, but I'm like, I call dibs on the flying carpet heist of 2020. Sera?
Well, one thing that I love that I didn't know that we were going to be able to do is the boats. Because they always say don't shoot on, near, or even think about water when you're making television. But because we've assembled such a phenomenal crew, because our line producer is such a genius, because Chris Fisher is our producing director.
And as a sailor.
And as a sailor. Because, you know, everyone top to bottom is so good at their jobs, we get to do that this season. So that was a gift we didn't expect. We're pretty stoked about it.
I'm not much of a drinker, and I love a good club soda. I'm like a one and done, you know, half Jew, so it's a rough ride for me to have a night out at the bar. I think Elliot probably loves an old fashioned, something really classic.
Excellent, thank you very much. Well, she came all the way down to San Diego just to ask that question. That was an incredible amount of commitment. I think maybe, we'll see how long this goes, but this might be the last question. What is your name?
Hi, I'm Erin. If there were to be another musical episode, what song would each of you want to perform?
Don't even think that this is going to have the remotest influence on me. Please answer the question.
I'm hoping that Quentin like trips down one of the wells in the Netherlands and falls into the world of the Disney's Little Mermaid. Because I want to be where the people are.
I'm a sucker for West Side Story, so maybe like when you're a jet. I don't know.
Oh God, you are a jet all the way.
Cigarette till your last dying day.
Hell yeah.
Oh, shit. I don't know, I kind of feel maybe like some Viking metal type stuff. Alice is so mad right now.
I don't know. I'm torn between like a big band like Frank Sinatra thing or like a Bowie glam rock.
Sorry?
Anything from Greece.
I could go in two directions. I think it'd be fun to see some rap on the show. I think that would fit. Or it'd be really fun to see Penny go in the completely opposite direction and doing, I don't know,
opera?
Bette Midler. That's gonna happen. I'm gonna screw myself.